workforce development programs, financial literacy programs, early childhood education. What do they all have in common? These are all programs that can be found at the public library, not your father's library, the Clayton County Public Library System, today on Invest in Clayton. Hello, and welcome to Invest in Clayton. Today, we're going to speak with Ms. Rosalind Lett, Director of the Clayton County Library System. Rosalind, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, happy to do that. So, there's so much to talk about, but the first thing I want to say is that today's library is not our father's library. It's not what we grew up with in school and thinking about. It's so many things have changed. Is that a fair statement?
That's a very fair statement. It's an interactive hub of activity. We do educational things. We offer books. So we tell everybody we're not your grandma's library. We want you to come in and rediscover the library.
Rediscover the library. That's a great place to start. Let's rediscover what's new. So let's start off with what's old, right? So do we still have the Dewey Decimal System? Is it there?
We still have the Dewey Decimal System. It is still there.
All right. And the card catalogs?
The card catalog we still have, but it is now an online catalog. So we don't have the cards anymore.
All right. And what about library cards?
We still do have library cards, but we're now branching out into digital library cards as well.
Wow, so much has changed. All right, so tell us about it. What are the new features of the library?
Well, one of our new features is the RFID system, which is the radio frequency identification system that we use to be able to put tags in the books. So when you check them out, you can do that at a self-checkout station. So you can put the books on a pad. It will check the books out. It gives you your slip. You walk out the door. When you come back in, you put them on the little conveyor belt, and they check themselves in.
Wow. So no more hand checking of the books. And,
No.
and getting that stamp on there and making sure that the card is updated and there's space for that. All right.
None
so
of that.
Of course, I'm being facetious because we know that has been new technology in the library for quite some time. And, some of our viewers and listeners may be wondering, why is the Development Authority talking about the library? That's just books and, anybody can go get books and, kids and whatnot. But there's so much more, and we're definitely going to talk about traditional services at the library because quality of life is key, and Clayton County is just a great place to live, and the library service is part of what makes it such a great place to live. But I want to make sure that we talk a little bit more about some of these services beyond the traditional book lending that the library does.
Okay. One of the things that we do is called learning spaces. And learning spaces is for children from 1 to 5. It's an environment where they can play, but they learn as they play. So we're preparing them to be ready to read when they get to kindergarten. So if mothers can't afford to take their kids to daycare, they can come to learning spaces. We have it at the Forest Park Library, the main branch, and at Riverdale. And they can get their kids involved in learning spaces, and a lot of the things that they need to learn to prepare to be able to read, they will learn in learning spaces through structured play.
Wow. So Clayton County, through the library system, offers early reader programs called learning spaces that is accessible to any county resident.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. And again, why are we talking about that on an economic development show? Well, because we know that kids who learn how to read at an early age, one of the measurements that we talk about is by 3rd grade, but kids who learn how to read proficiently at an early age are so much more likely to go on and have positive, effective careers throughout their life, whatever that career may be.
Whatever that career may be. Because no matter what you do, reading is the basis.
This is true. This is true. All of your instructions are written out, and you have to be able to do that. So, all right. So we have that program, which is directed towards early childhood education, which is something new. That's a new service that wouldn't have been in the library when we were growing up. What else do we have?
We have a big emphasis on STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, and aviation. So we're trying to introduce our kids to all of the things that are coming in their future. So these will be realities for them. So we want them to be prepared to get some of these new jobs. So we're introducing them to drones, to bloxels, to paper circuits, to virtual reality, to music production, video production. So all kinds of things that are scientifically based or technology based that will help them to get jobs in the future. But we're also about to roll out those same kind of programs for adults so that they can get jobs now.
Wow. Science, technology, engineering, arts,
aviation.
Thank you for
and
adding
math.
in the arts. You know, what is life without that spice? Aviation and math. Now, these are all workforce development programs. This is amazing. And all of this is through the local library.
Yes. We have an area called a makerspace, and we have a lot of maker activities set up in there, like 3D printing. So we'll bring the kids in and we'll let them model something and then put it in the 3D printer. We have 3D pens. We have virtual reality so they can see things. And we have a new library coming online, and we're trying to get our layout for the library put into virtual reality so they'll be able to put on the headset and walk through the new library.
That is just absolutely amazing. So I got to say, I'm sitting here, my jaw's on the ground, got to pick it up. I'm blown away. I knew that there were a lot of things that libraries did today that we didn't do in the past. You know, different arts programs, reading camps and things for kids to make reading fun. But the workforce development aspect of what I'm learning today is just absolutely amazing. And I want to know is how long has the Clayton County Library System had these types of programs in place? And how do I find out more about them?
They've been in place for 5 years. I've been there 5 years. And you can find out about them on our website. We blast out emails. So if you come to a program and give us your email address, we will send you notices about things that are coming up. We put it on the Clayton County website. We have Valerie Fuller blast it out. So we try to get it out, and word of mouth is really a good one.
Word of mouth is really a good one. Okay, so everyone listening, you're going to tell all of your family and friends to go to the Clayton County Library System website, which is
ClaytonPL.org.
All right, so we're going to go to ClaytonPL for Public Library.org. And once we're there, we can sign up to be on a listserv.
We can sign up for events. You can scroll and see what's there because we have like health literacy information. We have financial literacy information, which I'll tell you a lot more about. And they can kind of browse around and see what they like and click on it, and it will tell them more about it. So if they're looking for information for their kid for a report at 2 o'clock in the morning, they can go to a website and a database and get what they need from that database.
Wow, that is awesome. So thank you for bringing these innovative programs to Clayton County. This is exciting because I tell you, you know, I've been around to a couple of different places, and this is new for me. And so I am excited to be able to be part of a community where the community as a whole takes this very seriously, and you know, we are supporting this. And so I can't thank you enough for making that part of our library system.
You're very welcome.
Early reading programs, workforce development programs, which are focusing right now on the youth, but you said that you're bringing a component for adults. Tell us more about that.
Okay, we already have one component for adults, which is through our financial literacy program. We have entrepreneurial classes that we have series of 8 classes or 11 classes that will introduce you to how to start a business, all of the skill sets that you need in order to start the business, or if you have an established business, how you can take your business to the next level, what kinds of things you can do as far as getting funded and making sure that your business credit is up to par so you can get the financing that you need. So those kinds of things.
All right. So, you know, if we grew up in the 80s or 90s, we saw that late night commercial of the guy in the green suit with all of the question marks, and you could call him and get the big book, and you know, with that book you could find all of the different grants and things. Sounds like we don't need that. We need to go to the library. We need to check out your website, and you're going to tell us how to modernize and find all that information.
We will tell you how to find that information, but we would also invite you to our class sessions where we have experts that come in to talk about things like marketing your business, preparing taxes for your business, setting up your business overall, the whole structure, what structure you should choose for your business. We've had a lot of people who have come in and taken our classes and found out that they have been running a hobby rather than a business because they didn't have the licenses that they need. They had not declared a structure. They hadn't done anything with the Secretary of State's office, so they were not ready to be in business.
Okay. All right. So who's running these classes?
Well, Belinda Ellaby, who is our coordinator for financial literacy, coordinates the classes and brings in experts from the community. So we have people from BB&T Bank. We have people who are marketing experts. So a lot of our community people are coming in and volunteering their time to teach other would-be entrepreneurs how to do it right and telling them about some of the mistakes that they made so they won't make the same mistakes.
All right, so this is not just sitting in a class, reading a book, and then regurgitating. This is in the trenches with real people who have been there before and are, did I hear you correctly, volunteering their time to come and share this information?
Absolutely.
Wow. So tell me more about how did you get this set up? Like where did the inspiration come from?
Well, when I worked in Huntsville, Alabama, we got a grant from FINRA, which is the Financial Regulatory Authority. And before I left, I told FINRA I would like to write for that grant when I got to Clayton County because I had done my research to find out that Clayton County has more unbanked and unbankable citizens than most areas. So I knew we were ripe to get a financial literacy grant. So when I got here, they had not sent me the information, so I called them up. And they sent it 2 weeks before the grant was due. So I pulled out all of my stuff and got to writing. We sent in all of our stuff. They sent back a lot of questions. We went back and forth, and then they granted us a $100,000 grant to teach financial literacy. And we were teaching it to 4 different groups. We started with the kids and the youth. We had the seniors. We had families, and then entrepreneurs. So for each group, we targeted financial literacy education. So we went into the school systems and we taught them banking on our future. So how to write a check, how to understand the language of money, and how to be a dignified citizen working within the frames of money and leveraging their money. And we also did a teen reality check where the teens were given a scenario like you're a single mom with a kid and you have to survive for a month. Yeah. And every 15 minutes is a week. So they had to get housing, they had to get food and transportation and all those things. And some of them had like daycare responsibilities and that kind of thing. So they learned that it is not easy to juggle children, daycare, and you make it $1,000 a month, which they thought was great until they found out how quickly it disappeared.
Oh, you know what? I can relate to that because I remember thinking, oh, when I got out of college, I only need to make this because I can pay my mortgage, I can pay my car note. But that reality is not correct.
Not at all. Not
there are
close. So
many more things that we don't know that goes into the world of finances. When we're just talking about interest and the way interest works. If you haven't had someone to explain that to you, it's mind-boggling. And so for you to be starting at such an early age and then also recognizing that there are gaps and going back in, so catching it early, but then going back in and filling the gaps of the people who didn't have the benefit of this new updated library system. That is amazing. And again, this is not everywhere, right? This is something specific that the Clayton County library system is doing.
Absolutely. Because one of the things we do for the adults is credit and money management. Because a lot of the people who are trying to start businesses, we realize, don't have their personal finances in order. So when you first start a business, your personal finances are your business finances. That's right. So we teach them credit and money management. We also teach them home ownership because we want folks in Clayton County to be able to own their home. We want them to learn all the things that we should have been taught 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Should have been taught 20, 30, 40 years ago. That's right. But you're filling in that gap right
We're
now, and we
filling it
appreciate
in.
you for doing it. Now, when we talked before we even got onto taping, you were telling me about some of the different entrepreneurship classes that are offered through the library. Can you tell our listeners about some of those?
Well, we start off with, is going into business right for you? Because a lot of people get a great idea and they want to go into business, but they know nothing about being in business. They just know about doing whatever it is they need to do. So we start off by introducing them to the concepts and things that they need to think about to make the decision whether this is really a good decision for them. Then we go into, what business structure should you set your business up in? Should you be a sole proprietor, an LLC, a corporation, a C Corp, S Corp? There's so many different ways that they can set their business up. But we refer them to tax accountants and tax lawyers and accountants who can help them to make those decisions instead of them just flipping the coin, oh, I think I'll be an LLC, because there are ramifications one way or another. So there are the good things and the bad things about each of them. But depending on what you want to do and need to do, they can help you decide which structure is best for your business. Once you get into business, then you need to know how to market your business. You need to start off doing a marketing plan, and most people do not, and a business plan. So we talk to them and teach them how to do these plans, how to know who your audience is, how to do the research in the library. And that's one of the reasons we have some of these classes in the library, because we want them to be able to use our resources. We have a lot of resources that will help you put together, like mailing lists of people who just moved into the community, or if you have a certain industry that you're in and you need to find out who your competition is. All of these things, we can teach them how to find that information so that they can be savvy in the decisions that they make.
Wow. So let me get this straight. I've got a business, or I have a hobby. We don't know if it's a hobby or a business yet. I have a side hustle.
Okay.
All right. So I'm doing my thing, and I'm thinking, I maybe want to quit the day job. You're telling me that I can come to the library, and I can sit through classes, and you will assist me with putting together the exit strategy from my day job and the marketing plan to take my hobby and make it a bona fide business.
Yes. Because the market research is really one of the first things that people should do, because you need to know who your audience is. And when you ask somebody that's going into business, well, who's your audience? And they say, everybody. They haven't done any research, because everybody is not your customer. So they need to know who needs what they're trying to sell. And what they really tell you when you're starting a business is that you need to look for the need in your community and create a business that serves the need, rather than creating a business and trying to find somebody who actually needs or wants what you're trying to sell.
Now that's real. Those are some of the first lessons that you learn in business school.
Absolutely.
So I need you to say that again, and after you say it, I need you to tell us all where to sign up, when the classes are, and what's the cost.
Okay. Well, to repeat this phrase, you need to find the need in your community and then create a business that will satisfy that need. That way you'll always have customers, because you've already identified your audience base.
All
You
right.
can get these classes at the Clayton County Public Library Service in the main library, and we have some at the Riverdale Library, but you can go on our website to see the schedule of all the classes. The classes are absolutely free. We don't charge you a dime, and we even give you snacks, because we know you're coming from work or somewhere, so you won't be hungry all night.
So not only is the Clayton County Library System innovative in offering these classes, they're not charging for them.
They're not charging for them at all.
Now, which is just absolutely amazing, people. So there was something that you mentioned. You talked about research and market research. Now, those of us who are in the business, we know that we can pay a lot of money to have a firm do data dumps, which may or may not be useful, because you have to know how to read all of that data that they've collected. Tell us more about the library, the research that can be done through there, and then the different services that you subscribe to that, again, with my library card, I can access.
We have a service called Mergent and one called A to Z, and we're about to purchase Reference USA. All of those databases have business information in them. So if you're starting a business and you're trying to identify your audience, you can go in there and you can search by the type of audience that you're thinking that you should have, or you can look at the industry to see what other people in the industry have done, who their customers are. So you can pull information that's already out there from other folks, so do some comparative studies and look at what are other folks that are doing the same thing that I want to do doing. You can also find out what things they're doing differently, because some companies have been doing things for years, but as things shift, they change their business model, so they start doing things differently. You need to know if they're dumping a product that you're just now starting up, why they're dumping that product. Because you don't want to come out with something that has lost its time and there is no more support for it, because things have changed. The way people do things have changed. So you need to do research in your industry. One of the things I always advise people to do is, there is a book called the Encyclopedia of Associations. Find the association that supports the industry or the business that you want to go into. Look at their site, their website, see when they have a meeting. If they have any in Atlanta or near Atlanta, if you can't afford to go to the conference, at least go to the exhibit hall, because you can see all of the merchants that other people use. You can compare them side by side to see which one really has the product that's affordable and that has all the functionality that you need. So there are associations for pretty much every industry in the world, and you can identify experts in those industries, and most of the time, those people will talk to you about what they've done in the industry. If they've written a lot of papers or written a lot of magazine articles, those are the people that you want to look up and talk to. And people love to share their expertise, so they will share it for free.
But you just have to find them.
Yes,
you
but
have
it's
to find
not
them
hard
and
to
let
find
them
them.
know.
Not at all.
It's not hard to find them with your help.
Without help. But also, the one of the groups in Atlanta publishes a list of lists, and it gives all of the top industries in Atlanta. So if you're in the Atlanta area, it will identify all of the realtors and all of the bankers and everybody, and it gives you that internal information that you need, like who to contact, who's the president, the vice president, the CEO, and all of those folks. So now you have a lay of the land to at least know where to start. And one of the tips and tricks that I was told at a conference was, say, for instance, you're trying to find somebody who does aerospace, and you call the local university president's office and say, well, who is the person on your faculty who is an expert in aerospace? And they said, oh, that's Dr. Johnson. So give him a call. So you called Dr. Johnson's office and you said, I'm giving you a call because the president referred me to you. That opens the door, and the gatekeeper will let you through.
Knowledge. I love it. But that's so true, right? So it's name dropping 101.
Name dropping 101. Who you know.
Who not what you know, who you know. That is excellent. And again, just one of the things that we have just learned from our public library system. Thank you for bringing that to us. As you were talking, and I was thinking about this, and you talked about Reference USA and the other databases. I had a flutter in my heart, and I was thinking, well, I don't know how to use those databases. So even though I can use them, make it work for me.
You can come to the library. We do classes on the databases, but we also do one-on-one sessions. So if you come in and tell us you need a specific thing, we can take you right to that, show you how to use it to pull out the information that you need.
Now, I've got to imagine that with all of these innovative programs that you're offering, there is some sort of accolade in it that the library has won over these past few years.
Well, we have not won anything yet. However, the American Libraries Association has what they call a STARS program. And there have been no libraries in Georgia that have gotten stars, so we're working on us some stars. We want some stars.
All right, so you heard it here. Clayton County Public Library System is going to be. I'm claiming it.
That's
I'm
right.
claiming it. We're going to be the first library system in the state of Georgia to get our stars.
To get our stars.
All right. So with all of this that we've talked about, you talked about the workshop series that you do with the Money Smart.
Mm-hmm.
When is that? Is it like always in March, or does it start whenever? How does that work?
It's a continuous series. We're on the 5th class, I think, now of the series. So we'll do 2 or 3 more classes, then we'll take a break, and then we'll start again. So if they go to the website, they can see the entire schedule, and they can see the schedule of when we start doing classes at Riverdale as well. But we usually do like 4 classes, take a break, and then do 4 more. So give them a chance to catch their breath and kind of soak in what they've learned and ask some questions. And we try to schedule some other sessions because we know credit is a big issue for business people.
Yes.
So now we're trying to set up a little mini series just on credit so they can come in and work on their credit. And the last time we had the series, I told Ms. Ellaby, I said, I want them to leave with something in their hands because they come here, they sit, they learn these things. But when you're at home by yourself at 1 o'clock in the morning, you're trying to work on this. If you don't have any tangibles, then you're not sure if you're getting stuff right. So I wanted them to have templates to work on business plans, and they work on their plan and bring it back, and we look at it and help them tweak it and do things like that. So they have some tangible things at the end of the class that they can go back to and say, okay, my business plan is set. I've done my marketing plan, so I've done other things that I need to do. Yeah. Because if they're looking for financing, they're going to have to have their act in order. So they're going to have to be able to know what the business plan says. So we tell people all the time, you can pay somebody to create a business plan for you, but when you go before that financial board, they expect that you know it through and through. So when they ask you a question that's off the cuff, that's not in what you have, if you can answer the question, they know that you're not the person that they want to finance.
So there is a certain TV show that shall remain unnamed where the key phrase is, you have to know your numbers. And I'm taking it from you that you are helping businesses know their numbers.
You have to know your numbers, and you have to know your business inside and out.
Okay. So I want to know before I move forward, I want to say that the Money Smart program that you run is continuous. Mm-hmm. You can stop in at any time. I don't have to start at class 1.
No.
They just roll through, and I can, wherever it is, I can pick up and come back and fill in the gaps.
Absolutely. And you can take it 5 times if you need to. If you miss something, because most of the time you do learn something different in another class. So when you come back, I missed that point the first time, but I'm glad I came back to find that. So they can come as many times as they would like. They can invite their friends, and we're really encouraging our veterans to come. We are putting an emphasis on our veterans because we know a lot of them are out there, and this can really help them to move forward in their life.
Now, before we end, I have 2 more questions for you.
Okay.
The first question is, what did we miss? Because there's so many things that we can talk about. I'm sure that there was something that I forgot to ask you. And then the second question is, can you just repeat for me all of the contact information so that individuals who are interested in using your services can get them?
Okay. They can go to our website, that is claytonpl.org, and they can find out all of the information that they need, or they can call any of the library branches. And once they go to the website, all of those numbers are there, so they can talk to any of the library staff, and they will refer them to the programs and give them the information that they need. And your other question was?
I'm sure that there are so many things that you could talk about. Like, for example, we didn't even talk about the language learning software that's free through the library. But, what did I miss? What did I forget to ask you about?
One other thing that is a passion for me personally is health literacy. When we did our financial literacy grant, we named it Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise, because you can't be wealthy and wise unless you're healthy. And I used to be a medical librarian, so health is my passion. So health literacy is one of the things that we do push at our library. We want our citizens to know that there is a resource called Medline Plus, MEDLINE Plus, PLUS, that your tax dollars pays for. Is put out by the National Library of Medicine. It has information on a lay level. There are videos, tutorials. So if your doctor says you have a knee injury and you're going to have to do a knee replacement, you can find out exactly what he's going to do by watching that video, so that you are not afraid when you go back to get that surgery. So whatever test or whatever issue you're facing, you can go to Medline Plus, and it is written in everyday English so that you can understand, and you now are more comfortable, and you can talk to your doctor and ask questions like you should.
Well, I mean, not only that, I mean, I got to imagine that this really helps you to advocate for yourself so that you're not, a lot of times, whatever it is in life, we will approach it with an abundance of caution. And so this helps you to advocate for yourself to say, you know what, I understand the risk and I want to do this or I want to do that or however it is, as opposed to just going in and saying, well, you said it, so I have to do it.
It really makes you knowledgeable. I tore my Achilles. So right after I tore it and got home, I started doing the research in Medline Plus. So when I went to the doctor, he was like, I know you. You're the director of the medical library, which means you already have researched what I'm supposed to do. Absolutely. Because you do not want to be a medical statistic. So you want to know what they're supposed to be doing and make sure that it's done.
All right. So this has been amazing information. So one of the things that I want to circle back to is just talk about this again, the general services of the library. I mean, I jokingly began with asking, is the Dewey Decimal System still there? Of course, it's still there, and the card catalog is updated. But there are services that are completely new just because of the era and the age that we're in that we didn't talk about. And I just want to make sure that we cover at least one more thing, and that is the digital library. What is that, and how does it work?
We're setting up digital cards because a lot of our school students can't get to the library to get the resources that they need. But we have a lot of books and a lot of magazines and even music that is digital. So we're trying to set up digital cards for all of the school children so that they can digitally check out resources that they need. And they will automatically check out and check themselves back in once 2 weeks is over, so they won't owe any fines or anything like that. So that's a way for them to get the resources that they need. We also have another resource called EverFi, which is modular financial training, and we're trying to roll that out through the library. So they have an elementary module, a middle school, and a high school module. So they can start with the elementary if they want to, or start with the high school. They can start kind of where they are and then work themselves through the modules to learn financial literacy, the literature, how to work with their money, things that'll happen in the financial world. So it gives them that education. And it's online, so they can do it self-paced whenever they feel like it. And all of the schools will have accounts that are set up through us.
Wow. So let me just recap. The quality of life in Clayton County through the library system is absolutely amazing. Not only does it have early childhood literacy programs, which are at no additional cost. It's just something that we can drop in and do with our children. It has workforce development programs directed towards our youngsters and also us as adults so that we can learn to retool ourselves. And so that's focusing on the STEAM areas, science, technology, engineering, arts, aviation, and mathematics. And then once we've done all of that, not discounting any of the traditional library services that we already know about, we can also come back to the library at no additional charge to ourselves to work on building our business. We can get a list of up to date, valid list of potential customers, where they are. We can customize those lists by using databases and psychographics to say, hey, you know what? I am looking for individuals who earn this much money in these zip codes, who have these hobbies, and it will print us out information that says, boom, these are the people you need to talk to. Here are their addresses.
Absolutely.
This is amazing. And this is all just there for any Clayton resident to come and take advantage of.
It is there for every Clayton resident. We want to empower our citizens so they can be informed consumers and they can ask the right questions and get to the right answers.
So, unincorporated, Lovejoy, Riverdale, College Park, doesn't matter, Lake City, Morrow, Forest Park,
it doesn't
Jonesboro. We can come and do it.
We can come and do it.
One Clayton. Thank you so much for joining us today, Rosalind.
Thank you for inviting me. This has been wonderful.
And thank you for joining us. Check out investclayton.com for more information.